Hey everybody. Hey, Thoughtful Husband here. I just wanted to talk about emotions today. And in particular, I want to talk about how emotions are like children. The little humans whose innocent cries seem to pierce through our defenses and just compel us to aid them. Who just naively wander about, discovering danger by detecting it with their little foreheads, their faltering balance, their finger in the outlet. It's amazing how easily they express pain, and yet how simultaneously they're unable to communicate what's gone wrong. I think so too with our emotions. How often can we get caught by surprise when our disappointment sets in, or just how a small slight from a loved one seems to be the most real and urgent thing in the moment, but is just barely remembered the next day sometimes. How difficult it can be to express the full picture of a resentment that's formed over months and years. When did it even start? How did I let it go on so long? Anger flashing from nowhere and just retreating from where it came from, with little or no recognition. Surely emotions are just a mystery to us humans. Frustratingly uncontrollable, they don't obey us. They overwhelm and irritate. They rise and fall as the day goes by. They go from sheer mundane boredom to terrifying excitement in a moment. And there's just nothing more human than the experience of emotion, yet no other part of human existence is met with more suspicion. Why? Well, I think it's because emotions are like children. And if you've ever lived with children, you know what they're like. Or if you ever remember even what it's like to be a child, you might know what it's like. Number one thing, children, they can't do a damn thing by themselves. They need leadership. And you can tell the quality of parental leadership by how well the kids respond, by how well they behave. Number two, they make random noises all the time. It's so noisy. Just try going into a house full of little kids and you'll notice that it's just never fully quiet. There's always some level of activity going on. There's always some low-level noise of just random stuff going on. Number three, when they get hurt and they get overwhelmed, they can't communicate. And it's stupid stuff. It's somebody hits them, somebody sticks out their tongue, someone isn't following the rules. They don't get what they want. Like any old little thing, they just get upset. And they don't know why they're upset. They just know that they're upset. Number four, they demand attention and they calm down when they're loved. They demand attention and they calm down when they're loved. This is true of any child when they're hurt. The first thing they do is they go to a parent and they connect with that parent because parents are, or at least they should be, a place of safety. Once they've been comforted by the parent, they wipe their tears and they go on as if nothing happened. It's amazing. You can go from, a kid can go from full-blown meltdown to, in 1 minute's time, be completely happy and you won't even know that anything happened. It's amazing. Number five, they can't ignore problems. It's like as soon as a problem happens, it just becomes the only thing they're focused on. It's why a lot of times the common tactic for parents is just distraction and redirection. Because once they're no longer aware of the problem, they just stop thinking about it. Just like children, emotions need leadership. They need parenting. Our emotions, it's interesting. They make random noises sometimes too, and they can be so loud and overwhelming that they don't make sense. They're not patient. They don't ask nicely when they want attention. And when you look inside and attend to them, they do tend to calm down. This is not obvious. A lot of us are just not great leaders of our internal world. Let's face it, most people just rely on things like distraction, avoidance, and suppression to deal with their emotions. That's the most obvious thing to do with an unpleasant emotion, isn't it? I'm not feeling great, so let me go watch a show until it goes away, right? Man, I'm so pissed. Let me just drink this beer so I can calm down. Ugh, I'm so stressed out. Let me just leave me alone and let me zone out on my phone for a little bit, But hey, what do we call parents who would treat their children like this? I think we'd call them bad parents. If you do that with your emotion, what does that make you? Well, so how do you treat your emotions? Let's do a little experiment, all right? Here, do me a favor. Just imagine yourself as a house, all right? A house with lots of kids, and you're the parent, you're in charge. And every child represents an emotion. Think about this for a second, right? How do you talk to those kids? How do you talk to those kids inside of you? How do you treat them? Do you just let them do whatever they want to do? Let them run rampant? Do you yell at them? Do you shame them? Do you control them? Well, why are they shouting? Why are they running rampant? Why does it feel like chaos sometimes? Because you ignore them. And they don't trust you, and they're testing you for leadership, and what are they finding? And just like kids do, remember, emotions, they're testing you for leadership. Just like kids do. Remember, emotions are just primitive, immature messengers. If you don't listen to your emotions, they will shout at you. And if you avoid them, they will come bug you. They will follow you to the bathroom door and knock, and knock, and knock, and knock, and knock, and knock. And if you ignore them, they will pester you. And if you shut them up, they will come back later. So what do you do? Especially if these emotions are particularly hostile, chaotic, overwhelming. What, you treat them like kids. If you know how to treat kids, then you know how to treat emotions. It's roughly the same thing. Well, how do you treat kids when they're upset or angry? You look them in the eyes, you invite them on your lap, and you comfort them. Then once they're settled, you just ask them patiently and you just listen. Like, hey, what's wrong? Seriously, try this. If it works for kids, it works for emotions. Try this. Next time you get a strong emotion, instead of distracting yourself or avoiding, just take a moment to look inside and just listen. Now, if the emotion is too strong, do some deep breathing, calm it down, relax your body. But once you feel it responding, go ahead, just ask it some questions. Look inside, find that emotion, ask it some questions. Ask it what's wrong. Ask it what you can do to help. And then, hey, tell me what happens in the comments section. Look, I know this sounds weird, but this is something that I do. This is something that you do. This is something that anyone can do. It's just not intuitive. It's not what people think to do. I'll challenge you. Next time you get a strong emotion, next time you get a strong, unpleasant, inconvenient emotion, rather than distract yourself, just look inside and say to yourself, like, hey, what's going on here? What's going on? And then, yes, write me in the comments section. I'd love to hear what it's like. Well, hey, I hope I've been helpful today. Love you guys. Take care.